Hello and welcome back. You've tuned into the Deep Dive, where we try to bring you some real insight into the gaming war.
That's the plan, and today, following your request, we're looking at some pretty fresh stuff.
We are. We've got the patch notes from the AKAG, that's the Black Desert Lab, for May 16th, 2025.
And it's crucial to remember this is the test server, so things we discussed today, they might change before hitting the main servers. It's pre-release info.
Exactly. Think of this as your sneak peek. Our goal today is to really pull out the key changes, the interesting bits from these notes. We want you to walk away with a good sense of what's potentially coming to Black Desert.
Right. Before we really get into the analysis and summary, though.
Ah, yes. Good point. If you like what you hear, please do follow, like, and share. It helps out a lot. Okay, let's start with the Dosa class. Some updates there.
There are. A big one is a new skill called Marunlay Dawn Miss.
Dawn Miss. Okay, how do players get that?
Well, it's a bit of a process. You need to have finished the Magnus main quest line and also have the knowledge tail Anelion, Abyssal Veins, Balenos.
Right.
And then on top of that, you complete a specific Black Spirit quest. Like I Koyo Yang, which translates to Abyssal Legacy Mysterious Call.
So not just handed to you. Makes sense. What if you've already done that older Magnus stuff?
Good news there. If you've already done the necessary quest, you can just grab Do Yang from the Black Spirit right away and finish it. Then boom, terrain is usable. You can register it to your skill slots.
Nice. Okay, now, I saw some notes specifically for Succession Dosa 2.
Yes, this looks interesting. Once you learn the Koyal Day that's enhanced, Miscleaving skill, another skill, Ho, Arno, or Flow, Diagonal Slash, gets extra effects based on your mist stage.
Oh, so like a synergy thing? Building up mist matters more for that flow skill.
Seems like it. It suggests, a potentially more complex rotation, rewarding players who really master how these skills interact. Could add some depth.
Definitely sounds like it. But the main thing jumping out seems to be damage numbers changing, a lot of them.
Oh yeah, a lot of adjustments to the enhanced skills for Succession. It looks like a pretty major rebalance.
Okay, give us an example. How significant are we talking?
Let's take SAD enhanced Cloud Drape. Before, it was 430 to 72% damage per hit, 4 hits total, with 58% PvP damage reduction. Now, it's hitting harder at 521% damage per hit, but the PvP reduction also went up to 66.1%.
Ah, okay. So better for PvE grinding maybe, but less effective against other players. That's an interesting trade-off.
Exactly. We see similar patterns elsewhere, like the 3, enhanced flow, double horizontal cut 3, including the combo finisher. Damage goes up slightly from 455% to 407.93% per hit.
And the PvP reduction?
Also up slightly, 59.1% to 61.1%. And another, enhanced flow, blind slash with its combo. That gets a bigger jump, 592% up to 867% damage. But again, PvP reduction increases too, 64% to 68.1%.
So it seems like a theme-boosting base damage, but maybe dialing back the PvP burst potential slightly with higher reduction rates.
That seems to be the direction, yeah. There are adjustments for Enhanced Miscleaving the Third, Enhanced Summer Wind the Fourth, Enhanced Tigup the Fourth, Enhanced Autumn Flash, Enhanced Four Seasons. The list is pretty long.
Wow.
Even some base skills like Double Cut, Descending Mist, Repetition, Domu see changes. It's a comprehensive look at Succession Dosa's damage profile. They're likely trying to refine its role.
Makes sense. Okay, let's broaden out from class specifics. What about general content updates? I saw something about new production nodes.
Yes, new production opportunities are opening up, specifically in the Ulukita region and also near Keplan village.
Ulukita first. What can players get there?
Things like Acacia Timber, Acacia Sap, and Monk's Branch from a couple of new nodes like Neruda, Plain, Lumbering. And Monk's Branch, that's usually in high demand.
Oh, definitely. So more supply might help there.
Yeah.
And these are nodes you invest contribution points into, right? For workers.
Correct. You invest your CP, assign a worker, and they gather the resources passively. They've also added the necessary work supervisors in Ulukita, Asta in Asperkin, and Du in Musgar. You can just use the NPC search nearby to find them.
And presumably you need places for these workers to stay and store stuff.
Yep, they've thought of that. New housing and expanded utility options, warehouses, lodging are being added in Asperkin and Musgar tied to these nodes. Each has its own CP cost, of course.
So a nice little economic expansion in Ulukita. What about Keplan?
Near Keplan, they're adding nodes too. For example, Marnie's testing grounds. Lumbering will give fir timber and spirit's leaf. The notes mentioned Keplan production needed a bit of love, so this seems targeted.
Good to see older areas getting attention too. Oh, and a small but welcome change for anyone hiring workers.
Yes, the worker contract viewing. If you're clicking through trying to find a good one, the speed at which the next worker pops up has been increased. Should make searching a bit less tedious.
Every little bit helps. Okay, now something I think a lot of players will be happy about, changes to housing costs.
This is potentially huge. The contribution points needed to buy any house are being capped at a maximum of 5.
Just 5.
Wow.
Even for those super expensive ones like Grana or Duvinkroon.
Seems so? The notes say it affects high-cost housing, but also reduces the cost of existing low-cost housing across all regions. If something costs 3 CC, it might now cost 2 or 1, presumably. If it cost 8, it's now 5.
That dramatically lowers the barrier to getting into housing, decorating, using it for storage or workshop.
Absolutely, and it goes beyond just the houses themselves. The contribution cost for connecting nodes across the entire world map from Balenos all the way to the Mountain of Eternal Winter is also being adjusted downwards.
So building your trade network, your worker empire, just got cheaper in terms of CP investment too.
Correct. It frees up a massive amount of CP potentially. Think about connecting nodes through Silvia or Dragon, or even older areas like Medaya and Valencia. Many nodes that cost, say, 3 CP might drop to 2.
That's a really significant system-wide change. It impacts exploration, economy, everything.
It really does. To give a specific example, maybe Heidel 8 to 4 used to cost 5 CP, now it might be 3. Or Grana 16, which was maybe 8, is now 5. It applies everywhere. Balenos, Serendia, Calpheon, Medaya, Valencia, Silvia, Dragon, Odelita, Mountain of Eternal Winter. It's a global CP cost reduction for housing and node links.
Fantastic. Okay, shifting gears again. Fishermen, listen up. Changes to fish prices.
Yes. The price guarantee period, the time you have to sell your fish for its best price, is doubling from 24 hours to 48 hours.
Oh, nice. More flexibility.
Much more. And the speed at which the price drops after that guarantee period has also been slowed down. Gives you more time to get to a trader.
Any regional differences?
Yes. Fish from Odelita get an even longer guarantee, 60 hours, up from 36. However, fish from the Mountain of Eternal Winter region remain unchanged. Their guarantee period stays the same.
Okay, so Odelita anglers get a nice bonus there. Now, what about farming? Something about new seeds.
Right. Seeds of abundance. You craft these by processing specifically, using the shaking method with magically potent seeds, mysterious seeds, and scarlet leaves.
Okay, so combining existing farm items. What's special about these?
The trade-off is a much longer cultivation time, around 24 hours. But when you harvest or breed them, you get a proportionally larger yield.
So like a long-term investment. Less frequent tending, but bigger payout.
Exactly. The example given is magically potent wheat seed by 1 plus mysterious seed by 1 plus scarlet leaf by 1 makes 1 wheat seed of abundance. Good for players who maybe log in once a day to farm.
Makes sense. Any item updates?
Just a minor one mentioned the description for the 530% combat and skill experience scroll has been improved to be clearer about where you actually get it from. Small change, but clarity is good.
Always helpful. Okay, let's touch on quests and knowledge. Anything interesting popping up?
There's a little flavor quest brewing in Villia. Apparently, with more fishermen around, a rumor about an unknown fish shape is spreading.
Ooh, mysterious.
Players level 7 or higher can check it out via a Black Spirit quest called Something Strange. Just a bit of world building.
Fun little detail. Anything else on knowledge?
A small quality of life fix for the Okula's Eye storage keeper, Herod Lomson. If you already have the Okula's Eye knowledge, the dialogue button to get it again won't show up anymore. Saves an unnecessary click.
Good stuff. All right, now for a big section. Conquest and Node Wars. Sounds like a lot happened here.
Yes, significant focus in this patch. Let's start with siege weapon balance.
Okay, what's changing?
Cannons get a big boost against specific targets. 100% increased damage against flame towers and hotches using the regular cannonballs.
So, better anti-structure capability for cannons. What about ballistas?
Also getting buffs. 100% more damage against fortress gates, and 50% more damage against wooden fences, wooden gates, and barricades.
Making them more specialized, too. Fortress busters and anti-barricade tools.
Exactly. And siege towers are getting tougher. They're now split into medium and large based on the Conquest War stage, and both types have increased durability and defense. Harder to take down.
So overall, siege weapons seem more defined in their roles and generally more impactful. What about defensive structures, claim towers?
In specific war types, unlimited conquest wars and unlimited construction node wars, flame towers are getting a new trick.
Whoa.
When they hit an enemy player, they'll now apply a stacking debuff. Each hit reduces damage reduction by 25 and evasion by 7.5% for 15 seconds.
Stacking. Ouch. That could really soften up tanks or evasion builds sitting in range for too long.
Precisely. It makes flame towers a more serious threat, especially in prolonged engagements in those unlimited-style wars.
Okay, moving on to something that often dominates battlefields.
Yeah.
The Cadria Elephant. What's new there?
Several adjustments. First, a control change. Mouse movement is disabled while you're using an attack skill.
Why? To prevent accidental turning during an attack, maybe.
That's the likely reason, yeah. More deliberate control. Also, a major mechanical change. The charge and moving horn attack skills no longer ignore frontal guard and super armor effects.
Whoa, that's big. Elephants used to just plow through those defenses.
They did. Now, players with well-timed guards or super armor will be able to mitigate those elephant attacks more effectively. Requires more tactical play from both sides.
But is the elephant getting weaker then?
Not necessarily. To compensate, the actual damage of its attack skills has been increased. And there's a new damage calculation against very tanky players in Node Conquest Wars.
How does that work?
If your target has 300 or more damage reduction, which is quite high, the elephant will deal a sort of fixed base amount of damage before the target's damage reduction rate is applied.
So it guarantees a certain minimum level of impact even against super geared players.
Essentially, yes. For example, four-leg stomp and moving horn attack had a base value of 2,900 total damage. Charge is 1,450 per hit. Even if someone has massive DR stats, that base damage applies first, then their percentage reduction kicks in. So if they have 30% reduction rate, that 2,900 becomes around 20-30 damage. Still very chunky.
Makes the elephant a more reliable threat against all target types then. Any other elephant tweaks?
A few usability things. The attack range of moving horn attack was adjusted to better match the visuals. Rotation speed during moving horn attack and charge is faster, making it more responsive.
Right.
And you can now start rotating the elephant during the windup of the four-leg stomp attack right up until the attack lands. More control during casting.
So overall, a more refined tactical elephant, but still very powerful.
Got it. Now, those question mark fortresses and some node wars.
Ah, yeah, the occupation type ones.
Yeah.
A small change to make them less predictable.
How so? The end time will now be randomized down to the second, not just the minute. So you won't know exactly when it's going to end. Could be 0.59 or 0.01. Adds a bit more tension to the final moments.
Keeps people fighting right to the very last tick. Okay, what about war correspondents? The observers.
They get some buffs to their tracker skill. The maximum distance they can move the camera is increased significantly double the left-right range, and about 16% more height, better battlefield view.
Nice for scouting.
And a cosmetic thing. War correspondents can now change the font color of their guild or alliance name in the guild UI, only they see the change and it resets if they reconnect, but it's a little customization option for them while a war is active.
Fun little perk. Okay, let's talk rewards. Node War rewards getting better.
Yes, quite substantially it seems, especially for tiers 3, 4, and 5 in the main regions, Medalla and Valencia, Calfion and Camasilvia, Balenos and Serendia.
What kind of improvements? More gold bars, specifically the 1kg honorable battlefield ones. More Essence of Glory, Essence of Courage, item collection scrolls, honorable drop rate scrolls, these spirited spoils boxes, and brilliant medals of honor. Just generally more loot for winning or performing well in these tiers.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
What about capturing those special question mark nodes, extra goodies there?
Yes. Capturing a node gives additional spirited, strong victory rewards. That means even more 1kg gold bars, more spirited spoils boxes, and more brilliant medals of honor, with amounts varying by region.
And what's in those spirited spoils boxes?
Depends on the region. Medalla and Valencia boxes might have things like concentrated boss auras or gold bars. Calfion and Camasilvia boxes look particularly juicy, with chances at things like Deboreka accessories or, again, boss materials. Balenos and Serendia boxes have similar valuable enhancement items. Basically, good stuff.
Definitely adds incentive to go for those contested nodes. And it's not just winners getting buff rewards, right? Participation rewards, too. Correct. The rewards for just participating in Tier 1, Spirited Encouragement, Tier 2, Passionate Encouragement, and Unlimited, Burning Passion Encouragement. Node wars have also been improved. More gold bars, more medals.
Any new items added to participation rewards?
Yes. For the Unlimited Tier Participation Reward, they've added Warrior Trace of Lightning. So even if you don't win, participating in the highest tier wars now gives this extra material.
Okay, seems like a clear push to make node wars more rewarding across the board. Let's switch to mounts. Horse camers, perk up.
Yeah, following some earlier quality of life updates for horse capture, this patch focuses on making taming more fun, profitable, and exciting.
Oh, so?
Wild horses are getting better. The levels you find them at now range from 1 to 20, up from 1 to 10, and the tiers now range from 6 all the way up to 8. Previously, wild tier 8s weren't a thing.
Wild tier 8s, wow. And tier 7s.
The appearance rate for tier 7 wild horses has been significantly increased, so you're much more likely to find higher tier horses out in the wild now.
That's huge for breeders. Anything else about wild horses?
There are rumors, stable keepers whispering about new, rare breeds.
Ooh, tell me more.
At a low chance, you might find a rare male wild horse. These guys grow about 2.5 times slower, which sounds bad, but they sell for roughly 5 times the normal price. A potential jackpot.
A slow burn for big profit. Interesting. What about females?
Also, a low chance to find a rare female wild horse that comes with 4 breeding attempts available instead of the usual 2 or sometimes 3. Highly valuable for breeding projects.
So adds a real treasure hunting element to horse taming. Very cool. Anything else mount related? Stables.
A change to remote collection. You can now remotely collect up to 20 mounts from any stable, even if you don't technically have 20 empty slots there.
Oh, handy for consolidating horses.
But if you want to remotely collect more than 20, you do need enough actual empty stable slots for the overflow. So some flexibility, but still a limit based on space eventually.
Got it. Okay, quick system updates. Season servers.
It's a small adjustment there. The maximum level you can reach while on a season server is now level 63 and 99% progress.
Just on the season server itself.
Correct. If you take that character to a regular server after graduating, you can level past that cap as normal. It just aligns season server progression goals better.
Makes sense. And a neat tool for navigation.
Yes, especially for the desert or ocean, if you have a compass item equipped.
Like the archaeologist's map or Laffy Bed Mountain's upgraded compass.
Exactly. You can now mark your current location, and your guild, platoon, or party members will see that mark on their map. And the cool part is, they don't need a compass to see your mark.
Oh, that's brilliant for group coordination in those confusing areas. Huge quality of life improvement.
Definitely should help avoid getting lost quite so often.
And as always, there's a list of bug fixes and smaller changes, right?
Yep. The usual stuff: fixing typos, correcting awkward map displays, fixing some animation clipping on outfits, adjusting a boss monster's behavior slightly, fixing some pathfinding issues in Ulukita, making sure certain knowledge is obtainable, preventing fishing from being canceled weirdly by party skills, fixing a Conquest War results display bug, adding some newer accessories to upgrade lists. Just general polish.
Good to see those little things getting ironed out. Okay, let's try and wrap this up.
Sounds good.
So to recap this deep dive into the May 16th Black Desert Lab notes, we saw significant Dosa skill updates, especially for succession, new production nodes, and housing coming to Ulukita and Keplan.
Big reduction in contribution costs for housing and node networks across the entire world.
All right. Extended fish price guarantees, new seeds of abundance for farming, lots of changes to conquest and node wars, siege weapons, flame towers, the elephant, rewards.
And finally, those exciting updates to wild horse taming with higher tiers and rare breeds now possible finds.
Phew, that was a lot. And just a final reminder.
This is all from the test server. What actually goes live could be different. Always keep that in mind.
Absolutely. So, as you think about all this, maybe consider, how will these cheaper nodes and houses change your contribution point strategy? Are you going to dive into the revamped node wars for those better rewards? Or maybe spend some time searching for that elusive wild tier 8 horse? Lots to potentially shake things up.
Definitely plenty to chew on and anticipate. It'll be interesting to see the real impact when and if these changes make it to the live game.
Indeed. Well, that's all the time we have for this analysis. Pet, chew, and I guess it's For today, please follow, like, and share. Thanks for joining us.